Hey gang, it's been a while since a Derminport video, so I want to give a quick flyover and recap of the city so far. We start out here in our initial low-density residential area that leads into Guntvilleburg, head into Lee Acres, our 5-star farming industry employing so much of the town. Zoom across the tracks to our unnamed California-inspired area, which we will be working on later today. Keep zooming over to BMF Airport, which also gets an upgrade today, and across the river to New Quistland, where we have our small town East Coast Canada vibe, and where we start today's episode off. Before we try to work right here to get our population up by 3,000 people, we need to scooch back a bit and come to BMF Airport, which has reached level 2. This means we unlocked a whole bunch of airport things. You can tell I have no idea where they are down here, and we will be expanding that airport soon. But first, I want to come back to New Quistland and quickly transition from this to this with all of our roads in, our water piping in, services in, as well as parks. Over here we've got a couple sports places, we've got cemetery, parks. You guys can see what's happening. The goal is to get from 4,200 to 7,000, and I'm not sure we will be able to do that within just this area, but we are going to try. Even with adding some services to the area and other services in a couple other places as well, some buildings have leveled up, which got us from the 4,000 to the 4,200. So we are just going to do a whole bunch of house placement. I'm going to stick with these big suburb houses because this area really is going to feel like a suburb, and we are just going to get these put in. And wow, just as I am finishing up plunking all of these houses in, we have actually reached Big Town just by getting this area done in. So we've got another tile, that's great. We have campus areas, which is really exciting, and all of the high density stuff. This is pretty rad. Let's zoom out here and show you what I've done. There's still some spots that I need to fill in, of course, but this is the overall look so far. Something that I have become cognizant of, though, is that I'm a fool and I forgot these big suburbs look really funny on the normal sidewalks, don't they? So we are going to go back into our roads. We are going to get the big suburbs, and we're going to update pretty well all of these roads, all the roads that have the houses on them anyways, and that will just look a little bit more neat and tidy. Oh my goodness, look at all of the parking. That will be something that we'll have to address as well. Updating these roads though does work out, because as I've been doing this, I've been hearing so many dings. You can see the little smiley faces there. Our citizens really love having these roads in, it seems. There is still plenty to do over here in New Quistland, but before we come back to it, let's let some things settle. Let's let these guys level up, move in, the whole shebang, and come back over to BMF Airport, which reached level 2 earlier. Now, I can't quite remember what we unlocked, but I'm sure we can figure it out together. We definitely did not have the medium aircraft stand before, and if I remember right, I wanted to put them along this side, didn't I? So let's see how many we could cohesively get in here. I'm thinking 3. If we do this, maybe 4. If we kind of scooch them together, is a 4th one going to work? You know, I think it is. So let's bring this one in as well. And then I'm just going to grab all 4 of them, come to move it, and go line up objects. And this guy, I guess they want some water, eh? Now, how was I doing water? I was doing it under the terminals. Okay, sounds good. And we will have to adjust our runway here as well. I'm just pausing the game real quick. Let's get rid of this. Now that's gonna have to come out there if I remember right. Let's grab the runway. I've been calling it a runway. It's a taxiway, my bad. I'm gonna delete this corner piece Yeah, let's see. If we were to do that instead, what does that look like? We'll turn that a little bit more nicely as well. And then in here, maybe we do that. Is that okay? Let's make it a little bit curved of a turn. And then up here, we can curve that as well. I think that's okay. Let's watch this guy. Oh, he was taken off anyways. Well, you take off, you hoser. And what else did we unlock? Oh, all of these decorations. So let's look at the airport area. We need a lot more attractiveness. Interesting. Right, we have these medium parked planes as well. Now, where could we scooch these guys in? I think we could get away with 1 or 2 in there. Let's do, yeah, we could absolutely get away with that. If we come in and we kind of move them around, I think that's very reasonable. We have these fuel stations. Oh, that's bigger than I expected. Okay, so how can we make this work? We can maybe get one in here. If we can use move it, kind of juggle it around. That's, oh yeah, that's still on the road there, isn't it? What if we just made it go along this way instead? That's eating into our space for the larger planes over here. Why don't we go a little crazy? I'm going to grab these nodes for the actual runway, and I'm going to really mess up this guy's day. I was hoping to move them down. That's a little weird now, isn't it? Let's do this the proper way. Let's delete these instead and redraw the runway. And from there, we can grab our taxiways, delete what we've done, of course, and put them back in. Now that gives us a lot more room to work with, doesn't it? Let's come over here and kind of adjust these, make them feel a little bit more gradual for our planes. I like that quite a bit better. Now we have a lot of room to take this aviation fuel station and bring it over this way. I am going to do, I think, one on each opposite of these hangars, right? I like that very much. Grab them as well, do the line up objects. Now that did not bring us very much attractiveness score. I'm honestly a little surprised, but very impressed with the fact that building like a smaller airport like this is going to be a challenge. Who doesn't love a challenge? This, I think, is where we're going to have to get our scores from the airline lounge and the hotel and such. So can we, I would love to get the lounge in here. Can you put a hotel? Oh, they're at the sides of the roads. Okay, that is a future problem. Maybe this airport hotel also at the side of the road. Let's get another lounge in here anyways. We'll get the 2 lounges in here. I think what we are going to have to do is I'm going to put down this elevated metro station as a placeholder. So I'm going to put it here and we will use this in the future. I'm going to turn it maybe off for now so that we're not spending the money on it. That will also make me remember to start using it. And what I want to do is come here and take this road. You can tell I kind of planned on doing something here anyways, right? Because I went from the 2 lanes to the 3 lanes. I vaguely remember that that was for a reason. What happens if we, I'm going to turn snapping off. What happens if we just go straight out like this? And I don't want the 1-way road any longer. We could just use these tiny roads. Let's try this with the tiny roads. I think we'll end up scooching it down more to go in line with this. And I can't go from in there to here, can I? No. Okay. But what I can do is draw a road right along here, let's say until there, and that will allow us to put down the airport hotels. Let's get these nodes at a better height. You can see the pavement there connects much more nicely. We'll do the same back here. And then what we can do along this road is we can grab our airport hotels and start putting them in. Let us do the luxury hotel closer to the airport itself. I apparently need to expand my airport zone again. So we'll get the luxury hotel over here. I would like to anarchy it in, please. And then we have this budget airport hotel. How many of these can we do without it looking really strange, do we think? Is 3 too many? You let me know. You let me know in the comments how odd that is. I think it would be smart to also get some parking in here. So I will take these and move them down the line. I'm also going to kind of encroach them on each other and then take this bigger parking garage and put it over here. Finally, I will grab this node, and just bring it in at the tiniest little bit. And I think that looks all right. We do, of course, have the landscaping to worry about back here. I'm pretty confident that I will end up putting a retaining wall there. I'm just going to wait until we buy this tile to do so. Let's check on our attractiveness score. 900. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump up those numbers or something like that. What will give us the last little bit we need? These medium planes are 30 each. These small planes are 20 each. I think we can fit one more small plane in here. I think we can maybe fit a small plane if I put it over here, but then I move it over this way. That works better. And then a couple parked planes. Looking at the airport, that gives us the attractiveness score that we need. Our passenger requirement seems to have gone up, which is fine. I'm okay with this. And now we wait for those passengers. While we are waiting for our passengers to go through BMF Airport, can we just slide over here for a second? A little too far this way. Gang, I'm honestly genuinely embarrassed. Look at these houses. And I've brought everything to the same height here just to make sure that I wasn't completely losing it. I used the wrong houses here. These guys are intended to be on slopes. The intention is for the front of this house to be level with the road and stuff, but then for like a hill to drop off, like you would probably see in SoCal. I don't know, I haven't been. So we are going to do a little bit of YouTube magic to replace those like sunken and unsunken and everything houses with these new ones. These are Californian bungalows by Jackson, and they did what I wanted them to do. I was just going around and using repaint to kind of change up some of the roof colors, but I ended up starting to get pretty wacky with the colors. You can see I've got like a pink one here, and so I decided maybe we can let that be a little bit, but I think it looks okay. I did use some of the previous houses in like the correct way over here, so see how these guys, if you look at it, I guess this way and try to look around the trees, this area on the left is a lot higher than this area on the back. Maybe not a lot, but you know what I mean. And so you can see that the decks are uncovered and where they are supposed to be. And these ones here are the opposite. So the front is actually lower than the back half. So I still used a couple of them and I managed to actually use them correctly. I did try to grab all of these props and get them down to the correct train height. But you can see, of course, I've missed a few. So we will let this population kind of regrow back in. I guess a lot of them have started leveling up. All right, they're doing just fine. I'm going to swing us back around and use picker to grab this key. And we're just gonna bring it all the way around here. I don't see any reason for us not to just be having a giant key wall along this airport. Why would we ever not do this? My only question is going to be, of course, where do we end it? And I think ending it kind of like into this forest is going to be fine because we are going to use the rocks trick and we're going to have rocks sticking out of this forest that will cover up this cheeky little ending bit here. It's always my favorite way to do it. This whole airport area is pretty flat. That's, you know, a whole function of the airport's DLC. So we will grab all of these nodes, let's say all of these nodes, and bring them to, well, why don't we just go to the height of one of these. See what that's done. I think that looks okay. We'll tidy up that sand. Wonderful. And then what happened over here when we connected it? Okay, so we just need to pull this back a little bit. Let's grab that node there and pull it maybe that way. That's fine. And then we can grab these pillars and move them forward into the water. We will swing back over the side and just tidy up this landscaping. Now, someone had mentioned using picker to get the train tracks, and I just want to address this before we hit the 9,500 that it will take to get us the train tab, because we're really, really close and I'm very excited about that. But if I grab picker and I grab this train track, it will take me to find it, but this is the train tracks right here. And in order to put down the train tracks, I have to construct a train station. Even if I were to type in a train station here, I can't actually kind of technically get one. This is a metro. I could use the find it trick that we have been using in the past, but that's always such an easy out. And then this one here exists, the train station track, and putting it down, it actually like looks different and connects differently to the regular train tracks, right? So this is the one that goes along with the actual train stations. It's not what you would use for a normal train track. So let's let our population get up to 9,500, and just seconds later we have reached small city. Look at all the stuff that we have. Cable cars, cool. Train, even cooler. Monorail, yeah, fine. Scrolling down, we have all of the transport things. We have some arenas and a hydro plant, which I'm not sure if we've got anywhere that we want to use here. No, don't get distracted by the hydro. Let us grab the train track now. Right, and I still have to put down a train station before I can place any train tracks. I got very nervous there. So why don't we come over here into our Lee Acres and put down a cargo train station. Wow, this one is huge, this Miyagi Motors. I wonder, I'm just kind of gonna look through these. I think we will actually use these. I want to see what this looks like. So I'm gonna pause the game because I have a feeling we will end up deleting this. But, oh, now that looks pretty neat, doesn't it? Let's get rid of that and intend to use that over this way more, where of course the slope is too steep. Let's try it over here. And then let us grab a road. I'm just gonna use a regular road for now, just kind of while we're planning things. And I'm gonna bring a road out this way to come back to the train stations and grab the bigger one. And if I were to put it here, where is the rail? Ah, it's right out there. So why don't I instead grab a road, bring this out this way, turn this around, and then we have the rail coming out that side. Great, now we should be able to use picker. We have our rail. This is wonderful. So we've got rail coming out that side. This is all, now I prefer to separate passenger and cargo rail when I can. This is probably going to end up having passenger on it sometime. I think maybe for now we just put the cargo tracks down and worry about separating the passenger and cargo at a later date. I know future Toadie is not going to like that decision. So when future Toadie makes that decision, be sure to holler at me in the comments and remind me that I knew what was coming. I knew exactly what was coming. What am I trying to do here? Who only knows? I'm just trying to get a nice angle on these curves. And take everything that I did over here and switch it around a little bit and put it over here, and that's what we've done. I couldn't get these two to line up well, the spot that I had them over just a couple feet away, and so we brought them this way instead, and they look just fine. I do want to make sure that this is the exact same height as that, because then the two buildings work well together, and of course they need water. That makes sense. Let's give them a little bit of water here, and we have this guy connecting going that way, this guy connecting going that way. I look forward to putting in a proper rail yard here and getting some detail work happening, but that is going to happen in a future episode because, gang, we are calling it there. On screen right now is part 1 of a 3-part mini-series where I built the most populous, but more so most beautiful and most exciting city, all within just one tile in City Skylines. If you haven't seen that series, click on part 1 now. Subscribe to the channel if you want more City Skylines awesomeness, and gang, I will catch you next time.